So this right here is a quick review for my Geometry CP students that are taking my quiz test tomorrow from the Chapter 3 of the Glencoe McGraw-Hill textbook. Enjoy.
So here's the first type of problem you would have to be able to do. I want you to take this picture. I want you to just pause the video. I want you to draw it. This is a letter D right here. You pause it, draw it, fill in all the angles, and write down on the side why you said them. I'm going to go over it. Go. All right, so first, I want to figure out X. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, about 10 different angles I want to get to. So some of the easy ones I see, I can tell that these two lines are parallel based on these arrows here. I can tell that this is a straight line. Looks like I can assume this is a straight line, this is a straight line, and this is a straight line. So given that this is a straight line, right here I can take KED and KEG, and I can say that they're supplementary, meaning 180 degrees is the sum of the two of them. So subtract 42 from 180, I'm going to get 138. Right here, if that's 138, something that's vertical to that is right here, 138. From here, if this is a straight line, it's a corresponding angle. Let's see, do I have a corresponding angle here? Well, I have an alternate exterior angle from 138 to X over here, so X equals 138 degrees. And I can say 42 is a corresponding angle to ACB here, so I can fill that in. Again, because of these, I can do the same thing over here. I know this is 138 because these are supplementary, these are vertical, or I can say that they're alternate interior angles to DEF. All right, and lastly, I'm going to fill in 42 degrees here. Next, I see this 152 here, and I want to figure out what this is. I know that this is a straight line, so if that's 152, these are supplementary together. So 152 plus what gives me 180? Well, 150 plus 30 would give me 180, so 2 less than that, 28. So that's 28 right there. So if that's 28 and that's 138 together, because this is a triangle, the three of them together are going to make up 180 degrees. So 28 plus 138, that'll be 146, 156, 166, and add 14 more, and you get 180. So if that's 14, I know these two angles are vertical, and these are supplementary, so again, this would be 166, and this angle EFH is 166. So another thing I would want you to be able to do on your quiz is if I gave 3 letters, say C, let's see, JCD, what's the angle of that? Answer it out loud on yourself, pause it. JCD, what is the angle of it? Answer is 42. JCD, angle is 42. What are the sides of angle KED? Well, it would be side length KE and ED. Something else I could ask you is if I could ask you, what is the angle relationship between BCJ and, let's see, DEI? So BCJ and DEI. Pause the video, answer for yourself, and your answer is going to be corresponding angles. So I'd want you to know all of your angle relationships. So that's it for the most part. You should be able to fill in all the angles correctly, and you want to be able to know your angles so that if I asked you, oh, looks like we missed one right here. This should be 42. You should be able to answer angle relationships and fill all these in. So that's number 1. All right, here's a second type of question I would want you to be able to answer. So pause it after I read this. Draw a line perpendicular to a line going through 1, 2, and 3, 5. Have that perpendicular line go through -2, 4. So pause it right now, answer for yourself. Once you get stuck, come back to the video, and I will say how I would go about doing it. Go. So first, I would plot my points, especially if I'm given a grid. So 1, 2, 3, 5, and I want to draw a line. So that's 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. So there's my original line. It says have that perpendicular line going through -2, 4. -2 and 4. All right, so let's pause for a second and think. I want first the equation. Well, if it's just asking me to draw, I don't necessarily have to come up with an equation, but I know that if this is 2, 3, so my slope I should be able to figure out is 3 over 2, rise, run, is going to be 3 over 2. So my perpendicular slope will equal the negative reciprocal. So it's going to be -2 over 3. So from there, -2. So I'm going to be going up 2. So it's going to be going like this, up 2 over 3. Wow, made that easy. That was an accident, actually. All right. So if I were trying to figure out the equation of it, I already have my slope. So I have y equals -2 over 3 x plus b. I don't know what b is, but I know it's about there. My final answer should come out to about 2.5-ish. I'm gonna bet it's 2 2/3. So what I need to do here is I know that my line is gonna go through both 1, 2, and it's gonna go through -2, 4, and I wanna put in a value for x and a value for y, solve for b. Go do that now, pause the video. I'm going to do 1, 2. So 1 is my x value, and 2 is my y value. So 1 times -2/3, I'm going to add 2/3 to both sides. I end up with 2 2/3 equals b. So my final equation here is going to be y equals -2/3 x plus 2 2/3. So here's the next type of question I would want you to be able to answer. Calculate the distance between A and line CB. See how much you can do on your own. Pause the video right now, do this on your graph paper, and get it done. I'm going to show you how to do it. Pause it now, go. So first, I'm going to figure out what is the slope and what is the line of this, so I can figure out what is the slope of a perpendicular line going to be that's going to go through A. So first, I got my B. This is 2, 4. And this right here is -1, -3. So I want to figure out my slope is going to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We lucked out in this case. Our slope is going to be +1, nice and easy, 1x and -2. Whoops, -2. So that's the equation of my line here. I want to figure out what's the distance between A and this line. So if that is going to be my slope, my perpendicular line is going to be, like we said before, it's going to be the perpendicular to slope of 1. So that's going to be 1 over 1 or -1 over 1. So you're flipping the numerator and denominator. So we know the slope of our line, slope of perpendicular line equals -1. So now we just got to figure out what is going to be the y-intercept. Now, why do I need to know that? Because I need to be able to figure out what is the point that they're going to intersect. Now, I could draw it. I can make a pretty solid prediction that it's going to be right here. So that point to me is 3, 1, but we're going to check. So -1, so I have y equals -1 x plus b. I know that it's going to go through point 1, 3. So I'm going to put a 1 in here and a 3 in here. I'm going to solve for my y-intercept. So -1 plus b equals 3. Add 1 to both sides. I got, 4 equals b. So 4 equals b. So my equation is going to be y equals negative 1x plus 4. So now to double check, so this is my equation now of this line. This line we'll give this point a name, point D. So AD, the equation of line AD is right here. So now I want to find the intersection between this line AD and CB. So my equation, I want to set equal to this one. So it's going to be negative 1x plus 4 is equal to, and it should come out to. So my video cut out. All right, so my video cut out for a second. So what I was doing was setting my two equations equal to each other, which I did right here. I said 1x plus 4, which is this right here, equals, negative 1x plus 4 right here equals 1x minus 2. And I set those equal to each other. I came down to x equals 3. And my y, I plugged that back in. I got 1. So 3, 1, my prediction was correct. So I have 3, 1, and I have 1, 3. So 3, 1, 1, 3. I want to find the distance between those. I want to find the perpendicular distance between the line and the point. So given that, I can use my Pythagorean theorem if I trust my picture, which I do. Distance is 2 and 2, right? And this right here is a right angle. So because of that, I can use that to figure out with Pythagorean theorem, or I can plug my points into the distance formula. I end up with 3 minus 1 squared plus 1 minus 3 squared, square root of all that. And then from there, bring it down all the way to 2, square root of 2. So I simplified 3 minus 1 squared to 2 squared. And this is going to be negative 2 times negative 2, which is positive 2. 4 plus 4. And end up with square root of 8. Square root of 8 is equal to square root of 4 times square root of 2. I can simplify square root of 4 to 2, leaving me with 2 square root of 2. All right, you should be able to answer something like that. Ready for the next one? So right here's another type of question you should be able to take. Find the distance between two parallel lines, y equals 1/3 x plus 2, y equals negative 1/3 x minus 4. I'm actually going to use different color pens here. So for my first one, I'm going to do negative 3x plus 2. So plus 2, negative 1/3. So I'm going to start there. That's my y-intercept. And negative 1/3 is going to be negative, so it's going to look like this. Start up here, go down here. So I should be able to draw it just like that. I would recommend putting in some points, right? We can see here. It's going to do that. And then negative 1/3 x minus 4 over here. Same looking thing. Point down 1 over 3, right? Rise negative 1, run 3. And same over here. All right, you should pause right now and do this yourself. Then follow along and do it with me. So from here, I want to find the perpendicular distance between my lines. One of the challenges will be choosing. I would recommend choosing either this point or this point to start from. So first off, I know that a perpendicular line will have a slope of the negative reciprocal of 1/3 x. So that will be positive 3 over 1. So my slope is going to look like this. Now I could draw it. Oh, I forgot to use the other color. Whoops. Well, I'll use this at least. Starting here, I can go up, starting here, and go up over 1, 3. So that will look like that. Or, now I can do either one of these, or I can do this one over here. Use a slightly different blue for this. So this I got, all right, 1/3. So it's going to be the same distance. The question is, which numbers will I enjoy working with better? I anticipate liking these ones better. I'm a much bigger fan of positive numbers instead of negatives. So I already know this point. I just need to figure out what that point is. It's clearly not going to be some kind of integer. So I need to figure that out. So I have right here the slope of this, which is going to be y equals 3. And I know my y-intercept, because I chose my y-intercept, is going to be negative 4. So it's going to be this equation right here. Now, if you chose this one up here, it's totally fine. You would do y equals 3x plus 2. And then you would look to see where do these intersect? So I'm going to take this and I want the equation of this one, which is y equals, and this is my negative 1/3 x plus 2. So I'm going to come down here. So I'm going to find this point up here by setting this equation equal to this equation. So this right here and this right here. So y equals 3x minus 4 is equal to negative 1/3 x plus 2. So again, I'm trying to find the coordinates here. If I do that, my x values, whatever I call it to x, that will be the x coordinate here. It looks like it should be like 1 2/3 or something like that. So I'm going to add 4, add 4, add 1/3, add 1/3. Hopefully this isn't too messy. 3 and 1/3, I just made up these numbers, equals 6. Let's see, 3 times 3 is 9. That's 10 over 3, x equals 6. Multiply both sides by the reciprocal. 3 over 10 times 3 over 10 is going to be x equals, so that'll be 18 over 10 or 1.8. All right, so 1.8 is going to be my x value, so 1.8, comma. Now I got to figure out my y value. So I can plug in y 1.8 into either of them. I'm going to put it in this one because I don't like dealing with that fraction over there. So if I do that, actually, you know what, that won't be that bad if I do 18 over 10. So if I do negative 1 over 3, scoot it down, negative 1 over 3 times 18 over 10 plus 2 equals, and the 3 will cancel with the 18 here. I'll be left with a 6. It'll be negative 6 over 10, so it'll be negative 6 over 10 plus 2. So it should come out to a y value of y equals, and that will be 3 over 5, so 0.6, so 2.6. So I now have 1.8 up here, and I have 2.6. Not the prettiest, but whatever. Lastly, we just want to figure out what is the distance of this light blue line here. What is the distance between this point and this point? So if I draw my Pythagorean theorem, actually I'm going to do it over here because there's numbers in the way, kind of. All right, so it should come out about there. So I know from 0, this is negative 4. My rise is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it goes up 1.8, so 5.8. So 5.8 squared plus, and then my run here is just going to be, we know it starts at 0 and goes to 2.6 plus 2.6 squared equals c squared. Or I could check the difference between my coordinates. So negative 4 minus 2.6 is still going to give me 5.8. Oh, did I do that backwards? Yeah, I did that backwards. My bad. So, wow, 2.6. I must have drawn it wrong. 2.6. So it should be up somewhere closer to here. Interesting. Weird. Wait a second. All right, I think I made a mistake. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to come back. All right, so I realized, looking at my math down here, I realized that can't be 2.6 because what I messed up here is I added these two. So instead that should be subtracting 0.6. So that should leave me with y equals, subtracting 0.6 should be 1.4. So this instead should be 1.4. My bad. Kudos to anyone that noticed my mistake. So that 1.4 should be added to the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 plus the height of this is going to be 1.4. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.4. And then over here, this should be 1.8. Getting my mistake. So the difference in the coordinates is negative 4 minus 1.4 is going to come to negative 5.4. Doesn't really matter because we're squaring it. All right, I'm going to use a calculator real quick. Break out your calculator, do it. Oh, this one's dead. Pause. So I just used my calculator. 5.4 squared comes out to 29.16, and 1.8 squared comes out to 3.24. add those together, and I'm going to get 32.4. So I would just leave that in simplest radical form, but if you're using calculators, let's just for a second. So the square root of that is going to come out to 5.69. Let's see, do we agree with that? So let's see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I would agree with that. That looks like about 5.69 units long, right? All right. So final answer comes out to 5.69. If you did this over here instead of this, you should come to the same answer. That will conclude the main review for chapter 3. Those are probably the toughest questions you're going to encounter. So coming up with all the values of an angles. If you look through any of your homeworks, you should be able to, if you had written that down, there's a very good chance you'll do very well on this quest because it's a quiz/test. 75 points, not 50, not 10, not 100. Feel free to put in the comments any other book problems you'd like me to do. I probably won't get to it tonight before the assessment, but maybe over the weekend or something if you'd like to still understand it. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all my geometry students for being studious and taking some time to watch the tutorial. I hope it was useful. Let me know what I can do to improve these videos in the future. I tried to talk quickly because I know some people were bored by it. Some people said they like me doing it out on the paper versus some people like me just kind of showing my work once I've already done it. So let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Stay weird.